I spent 12 years being mentally, physically, and emotionally abused. I used to look down on women who stayed in these relationships. It wasn't until it happened to me that I understood the hold of an abusive person has on their partner.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi,
What is your name?
my name is Priscilla Miranda.
Priscilla, what brings you here today?
Well, I have worked with guests before, and he asked me to read a letter, and he said that the theme was dear to my heart. So I'm not sure what it is, but I trust.
So to your right hand side, there's a yellow envelope. Please open it and read it to the camera.
Dear someone, when I was asked to write this letter, 4 things came to mind. The first was the movie The Pursuit of Happiness, then the songs Bad for Me by Meghan Trainor, Loyal, Brave, True by Christina Aguilera, and Honest by Kendall Inskeep in the Song House. If you wonder why these 4 things, the answer is because they summarize what my life has been. It started from a very young age. My parents separated when I was a child. My mother got full custody of me, and in her care, I was beaten and molested. I was too young to verbalize what was going on. My dad finally got custody of me when I was 3. Due to the age of my trauma, I didn't remember much, but my subconscious did. This led to sleepless nights and horrible night terrors that even still haunt me in my adult life. My dad put me in therapy, but due to his busy work, counseling, among other things, was put on the back burner. Growing up with my father, love was shown through material things instead of affection. As I got older, I sought out love through sex, which led to toxic relationships. It wasn't until my first true love broke up with me that I sought out therapy again, because I started self-harming. The therapist I saw was an amazing woman who has profoundly impacted my life. I wish I could tell her that today. She is the reason why I'm currently going back to school for my bachelor's in psychology. Shortly after high school, I became a single parent. I wanted to be a good caregiver for my children, so I got my practical nursing license to provide for my family and have a flexible schedule to spend time with them. Then I moved to Georgia, where my mom and her family were from. Even after all the things I had been told about my mother, I still craved to know her. Unfortunately, meeting her was even more traumatizing, not only for me, but for my children as well. At this time, I also met my abusive, now ex-husband. I spent 12 years being mentally, physically, and emotionally abused. I used to look down on women who stayed in these relationships. It wasn't until it happened to me that I understood the hold of an abusive person has on their partner. My mind was completely warped. I did not want to perpetuate my family patterns, so I stayed. Until the day he threatened to kill me with a gun to my head in front of my children. I left, pressed charges, and never turned back. I moved to Florida and stayed with my grandpa. His health was declining, so I became his full-time caregiver. Things got better for us. Not only was I in a better environment taking care of the man that meant the most to me, but I was also getting paid for it. I got all of his medications straightened out and got him in a better state. Then the worst happened. He had a massive heart attack and died on the kitchen floor. I had lost my best friend, the only person who never judged me, yelled at me, or dismissed my thoughts and dreams. I not only lost my grandpa that night, but I also lost my source of income. I started self-harming again, and once again I sought out therapy. Things were looking up until I injured my left foot teaching the girls how to do a round-off. I was put in a tall boot and was unable to work. Because it was not a work-related injury, I didn't get paid. This led to maxed out credit cards and pawning the title to my car to try and stay afloat. None of that helped though. We wound it up being homeless, living in our car. I had lost everything. With the help of therapy, I did not self-harm. I was determined to get back up. It wasn't easy, and there were lots of sleepless nights in my car, lots of reaching out to churches and homeless shelters, which were all booked. I finally talked to a friend who decided we could sleep in the living room in her apartment, which is where we currently are. I applied for a job at a jail and got hired after 2 months of waiting for a background check. I have been working for them as a nurse for 3 weeks now. Everything isn't perfect or quite normal yet, but I'm looking to the future. So what was the point of me telling you my story? First, because of how important therapy is. I don't know if I would have made it through without having a non-biased person to talk to. It makes me wonder if I had stayed in therapy, my life could have taken a different turn. Therapy isn't just for the bad times, it's for the long haul. Second, not to judge people. The person on the other side of the street with a sign has a story, and it doesn't always include drugs. Third, remember, if something is bad for you in any way, your health, emotions, mental health, or soul, run. Most importantly, never give up and seek therapy, even if you haven't gone through anything traumatic. Therapy isn't just for people with huge problems. Therapy is for the little things. Always remember, you matter. Never give up, be kind, and most importantly, seek out help. Sincerely, someone. P.S. Will you be my voice?
What are your thoughts, opinions, or process?
I have many thoughts, many feelings. Mostly, I feel inspired because I'm actually going to be a therapist. And stories like this someone is the reason for my work. I don't, in our line of work, we listen to really, really, really hard things, like the ugly things of life, the things that are unimaginable. And yet I am in awe of people's resiliency and the ability to bounce back. And I don't just hear a victim. I hear someone that is on their way, that has gone through things, but is on their way, on a journey. And I hear someone that can win in this life. I do believe that.
This person was here in front of you. What would you like to tell her?
Oh, I would tell her, one, that I'm sorry. I'm sorry, and that I believe you. I believe that she's been through hard things. And I would say that I'm proud. I'm proud of her. Because there's many times she could have given up, but she hasn't given up.
How do you think you could be this person's voice?
Well, one, I just read the letter. So I think that her story doesn't just stay with her. You know, oftentimes people come into therapy and they think that they're alone, or they think that it's not real, or that, so one, I think by being a part of this and just the impact, the question is, how can I be her voice? I think by just believing her voice and using, we're all made differently and we all have different paths. And I think just believing her voice, and being an advocate for everyone, not for someone. Yeah. The reason why I say I believe you is because oftentimes I think that's what people need to hear, because they're made to feel like it isn't real. Like there's like what has happened to them wasn't real, and it was. Hi, my name is Priscilla, and I will be your voice. Good. I'm hot. Wow. Oh, no wonder. No wonder you asked me. When do I see the final? What?
In a month.
In a month. Okay. I'm gonna. Do we keep this? No?